bookfinders. Ooh, if you got a dream, you gotta chase it. Oh, Go Country 105 today, isn't it? Is it Dierks Bentley or something? Ooh, starting the day. Let's make sure we mess up that stream right away. You wouldn't want to wait until later when I say something redonkulous to mess up the stream. Why would you do that, right? When you can just mess it up from the start, from the get-go. Oh, I can't stand this system of censorship, on this platform of death. It's really gotten on my nerves. It's gotten on my nerves, and I'm hoping for a better tomorrow. We have a new CEO, and the new CEO hasn't given us anything useful. No customer service representatives that we can just give a call to figure out what's going on with the money-making system on YouTube. We don't have anything useful in the sense of, okay, what can we do to make it better, drive more traffic to our posts? There's no such thing. There's no such thing. And all those things that are used as in, okay, let's make this like automated, or let's make this something that you pay for, like what they're doing with Facebook and Twitter and possibly even Instagram, is just plain stupid. It's just plain stupid. You know what's going to happen, right? The people who are going to pay for that stuff are the people who have all the scammy ads. Because if you're going to run scammy ads, right, you want those scammy ads to get in front of as many faces as you want. And since the price is like, what is it, $12 per month or something like that, they're planning on doing, you know what commercials are going to be run, right, on those things. All those drone commercials stating that, hey, look, I found a drone, and this drone is like $99, and it can do what a 1,000 or like 10,000 drone can do. That's the things that you're going to be seeing on those. So, I mean, I guess like that. Whatever. At least they didn't do the same thing that happened to Eli the computer guy, where it was even worse, where they actually tanked his entire channel, and he had to call in. Apparently he has access to, because at one point he had a real manager. So I guess that gives you access to stuff that I will never get, because I've never been monetized on the channel. So long as you're monetized, things can maybe be fixed. You can at least talk to a chat agent of some kind. But if you have never even been monetized, you have really nobody to talk to at all to fix the problems that you have with whatever it may be, the glitches that may be happening to you on YouTube. You're basically entirely on your own. Just like when you graduate from most of those art colleges. The problem with the art colleges is they are not like MBAs. They're not like business schools where the school actually grooms you and teaches you how to become, how to job hunt and all the, groom you to do like interviews and all that kind of stuff. The art schools are a little bit like YouTube, a little bit like YouTube. You're on your own all the time, unless you can get monetized. Then you might have a little bit of leeway. But if you never get monetized, then you're basically on your own forever on these platforms of death, especially YouTube. We won't even consider Twitter. Twitter is my least favorite. It's always been my least favorite system of communication. But YouTube is trying its best, right, to meet Twitter. It's trying to meet Twitter at its worst. Instead of trying to go the other direction, everybody knows how bad Twitter has been. So YouTube should be like going the other route. Like that was the funniest thing. Elon Musk takes over Twitter. Does he bring any customer service representatives to help people out who have been stuck out of their accounts for who knows how many years? Too many to count. No. He goes in there and he lays off a bunch of people. He destroys the entire system of, because, people were having a good time living the dream of coding. They may not have been the best coders out there, but they had jobs. Then all of a sudden, Elon Musk steps in the ring, their jobs disappear. Anyway, here's to women who save me all the time. Maybe there'll be one amazing woman YouTuber that'll drop by and help me out here. I'm kind of dead in the water here, as they say. I could use some help from good girl YouTubers, experts. Maybe they'll drop on by. We'll do a collaboration at some point. I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's kind of my last cry for help, if you will. OMG. Are there any YouTubers here? Any female YouTubers in their 40s here in Irvine, California, Woodbridge? Or am I the only YouTuber in Irvine, California, Woodbridge? I know Steve is planning to make a YouTube channel. He's planning. I'm not sure how many years it's been in the making, but he said there's a fixed date that he's going to finally show up and do it. Anyway, yesterday I was gonna do intentional robots and this, and then I got pretty deep in with Frozen. I was gonna let it go, but then I decided not to. Anyway, let me check to see where we got to yesterday. See if we can read a little bit out of this, and then we'll go back to reading the usual things that we do, the doobly-doo that we do, which is this stuff here. Investment management, a science to teach or to learn, and then voglia di cucinare, cocktail classici ed esotici from the Giunti de Metra. Anyway, let's see if I can even find the page where I was at, because I was at a page. We were talking about who's who, and no, it was not from the Whoville. It was some brilliant actors and actresses. You can't say that anymore. Everybody's an actor today. I don't know. I don't particularly feel that that's fun or better, but I guess that's where we're going. Just like we're going, the new blueprint going forward is going to be, I talked about this yesterday. We're going there. People don't realize this yet, but I've realized it, and I saw the path that it was going towards, but it could be even starker. Because how far can you push the envelope, right? It's going to be boy meets robot, falls in love with robot, and the test tube generation, the TTG, is about to happen. It could be a girl falls in love with a robot, and then the test tube generation is created, or a non-binary of any kind that leads to love between human and robot, and then the TTG, the test tube generation. You think I'm joking, right? You think I'm joking, right? It's coming. It's coming. There are people already today in the modern world, in places like Japan, who marry the robots. Of course, they're a little bit more advanced than chatbot GPT or some of the other robots that you can buy here in the US. But still, marriage between man and robot. We're there. We're there, guys. Anyway. Saheli Khan. Young Anna at certain performances is honored to make her Broadway touring debut. Saheli recently made her professional debut as the title role in Matilda, Slow Burn Theater Company, TV Sesame Street. S is for Scientist. Special thanks to Lisa Callie, Telsey Plus Co., and Disney. Grateful for my loving and supportive parents, coaches, family, and friends. Follow me on IG or FB, I guess that's Instagram and Facebook, with the handle at Saheli Hano Official. SAHELIKHANOFFICIAL. Then we've got Mackenzie Mercer. Young Elsa at certain performances is thrilled to join Frozen. Select credits: Les Miserables, Tour, Little Cosette, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas Tour, Cindy Lou Who, A Christmas Carol, WPPAC, Grace, Web, Kid Chef Bakes host, VO BS Block, Karma's World 2D, Thanks, Disney, Telsey, Bercy Talent, Innovative, Allison Ibrensen, and Family. Anyway, so you want her handle is Mackenzie Mercer Official. Then you've got Sydney Elise Russell. Young Elsa at certain performances is ecstatic to make her Broadway tour debut in Frozen. Broadway credits include young Nala in The Lion King. She's honored to work with Disney again. Sydney thanks God, her parents and family, the Boyson Agency, and MC Talent Management for their love and support. And her Instagram is Sydney Elise Official. We have Belinda Allen, which brings me back to the Belinda Award. This is really cool. Anyway, that's off topic. We're just going to read about Belinda Allen. Queen Iduna Ensemble. Broadway Allegiance pre-Broadway Once Upon a One More Time. Britney Spears musical. Paper Mill and Regional. Sister Act Mary Robert. BATB Belle. Is that Beauty and the Beast? It could be. I don't know. Excuse me. Excuse that humanity of mine. West Side Story Maria. Here Lies Love, Proud Phil Am. Love to Sam. FMP Social. So that would be an at Belinda _ Allen. ALLYN. We've got Kate Bailey. Ensemble is thrilled to be back in Arundel, Broadway, New York City. We've got Beetlejuice, U.S. Barbara Delia. Frozen, a chorus line, Christine. Tour Something Rotten, U.S. Portia. Thanks to Talent House, the Frozen team, and my loves, Greg and Patsy. Jack Brewer, Oaken Bishop Ensemble, is thrilled to be making his tour debut with his dream show, Regional Cinderella Chicago, Camelot Muni, and Buddy Foster Inside Show, WPPAC. Many thanks to Avalon, Telsey, his family, CCM, Sisters, and Quinn. Kalan Creaser, I think that's how you say it, but I apologize if I said that incorrectly. Is it Kalan Creaser? Handmaiden Ensemble. National Tour Debut, Select Regional Jersey Boys. Phoenix Theater, Guys and Dolls, Arizona Broadway, ASU, MT19. Endless thanks to God, my family block, and the Frozen team for my little sister, Brielle, at CAELAN_C. We've got Taylor Marie Danielle, Bolda Ensemble, is a graduate from the MT program at the University of Michigan 22. Credits include Dreamgirls, Dina Jones, Paramount, Chicago, Legally Blonde Ensemble, U.S. Pillar, Muni. Mary Poppins Ensemble, Muni. At Taylor.Marie.Daniel. Kristen Smith Davis, Swing Broadway, Anastasia. National Tours, South Pacific, Evita, White Christmas, Anastasia. Regional Paper Mill, Goodspeed, Arena Stage Shakespeare Theater Company, Sacramento Music Circus. Film, Ted 2. I think that's the one with the bear in it. Delighted to share the stage with her husband, Jeremy. You can go check it out at www.kristensmithdavis.com. Then we've got, let's see, Colby Deselic Ensemble is thrilled to join Disney Frozen, Broadway Miss Saigon, U.S. Chris, Anastasia, U.S. Dimitri. TV Instinct and The Tonight Show, thanks to friends, family, Nicolosi, and Telsey. Follow my YouTube channel, he says, Colby Deselic, Colby and Dezelick. C.K. Edwards Ensemble is excited to be back. Broadway Billy Elliot, After Midnight Shuffle Along, Natal Tour and Off-Broadway. Book of Mormon, Frozen, The Visitor, Songs About Trains, Regional, Guys and Dolls, Sky, Scottsboro Boys, Roy, Sophisticated Ladies, Duke. All right, so then we got Michael Everett Ensemble. Michael's credits include Disney Aladdin, Riverdance, High Button Shoes, Sophisticated Ladies, to name a few. He'd like to thank his family for their continued support and is so excited to be working with Disney again. We've got an at the Michael Everett, if you want to find him. We've got Berkeley Going Ensemble is thrilled to join the Frozen family off-Broadway City Center Encores. High Button Shoes, Regional at St. Louis Muni, Paper Mill Playhouse, Goodspeed Tuts. Thank you to Telsey CESD, and as always, her family. Then we have Natalie Goodwin, or Gooden. I can't say Gooden for some reason. I always say Goodwin for some reason. Natalie Gooden Ensemble. National Tour debut, Regional, Dallas Theater Center, Lyric Theater of Oklahoma, Theater Aspen, OUMT 2020. Huge thanks to Ricky Fishbein and Sean McKnight at the Hybrid Agency, Telsey Family and Friends, at Natalie_Gooden. Tyler Jimenez, Pabi Ensemble, Charlotte, NC native, BFA, Syracuse University, TV film, 73rd Annual Tony Awards. Do You Dance, Miss Parker? National Tour, Joseph Dreamcoat, Regional Theaters, Worcestershire, Broadway Theater, Syracuse Stage, Arrow Rock Lyceum, ILYMTIG. You can find him at Tyler BO10. Then you have Dustin Layton, Swing Dance Captain, Broadway, King Kong, Anastasia, and American in Paris, and The Phantom of the Opera. Other assistant choreographer, and American in Paris, West and Tokyo International Tour, Phantom National Tour, proud member of AEA. At Dustin KLAYTON. Make someone smile today. Love his philosophy. That's great. Then we've got Tatiana Lubov Ensemble is thrilled to be touring with Disney Frozen, Tour Rogers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. Ella. Much love to family friends Andrew and Marceline, BFA MT, and anthropology from UWSP, MS Physiology and Kinesiology from UFL. At Tatiana Lubov, TatianaLubov.com as well. Which reminds me of the, what was it? Freedom from Concern. So that's the FFC of Jim Carrey. Love that stuff. I have joined the FFC of Jim Carrey with his channel. In the beginning, it was a boring channel. Apparently, education was not interesting. So we turned it into the FFC of Jim Carrey, freedom from concern. We've married the philosophy of FFC on this channel, if you haven't realized yet. So yeah, smiles. Adriana Rose Leon's Ensemble, Smokey Joe's Cafe, Pasadena Playhouse, Rock of Ages, Las Vegas, $1 Million Quartet, Tour and Norwegian Cruise Lines, Hair Spamalot, Mamma Mia, Hollywood Bowl, 42nd Street, 3D Theatricals, Cabaret, American Idiot, La Mirada Theater. Instagram, if you want to check them out, is at Adriana 3_Rose. So that's Adriana 3_Rose. We've got Kyle Lamar Mitchell, King Agnar Ensemble, Broadway The Lion King, a graduate of Yale University. Favorite productions include A Chorus Line, The Wiz and Parade, Endless Love to His Friends, Family, and His Superhuman Mom. You want to find him at Kyle_LEY_LAH. Tony Niedenbach, Swing. Tony is thrilled to continue his journey in Arundel. Broadway Disney Frozen Tour RTCs. Anything Goes. Something Rotten. Disney Freaky Friday. 65th and 70th Tony Awards. Thank you, Disney. CESD W50 EDMN and The Fam. At toe_A_GOGO, which is go. Jesse Peltier, Swing Assistant, Dance Captain, Fight Captain, National Tour Debut. Regional Muni, Music Man, Mamma Mia. Tuts, Jerome Robbins, Broadway, MTW. Nice work. Hello, Dolly. PCLO, Oklahoma City University grad. Endless love to my family. Special thanks to Block and Telsey plus Co. Want to find him? At Jesse Peltier. Brian Stephen Shaw, Swing, is thrilled to be back in Arundel, Broadway, Disney Frozen, US Sven. National Tour, Disney, The Little Mermaid. US Flotsam and Jetsam. Regional, Broadway at Sacramento, Pittsburgh, CLO. Thanks, Mom, Nick, friends, CTG, and Telsey plus Company. Then we have Caleb Summers Ensemble. Native to Texas, Caleb trained and performed with the Texas Lone Star Ballet. Has performed in regional theaters across America and toured nationally while also performing internationally on luxury cruises. Let's Build a Snowman. Daniel Switzer, Ensemble Broadway and Nat Tour, Mean Girls, Wicked, US Bach. Newsies, Race, US Navy. Cats, Mungo. Film Newsies live on Disney Plus. Graduate of Rockford University. Daniel loves warm hugs and his family. You want to find him at Daniel Switzer. Zach Trimmer, I apologize strongly. Zach Trimmer Ensemble. Tour Hairspray, Corny, US Avenue Q, Princeton Rod, US. Selected Regional. Damn Yankees, Joe Hardy, Sacramento Music Circus. West Side Story, Tony Engman and Westchester. Gypsy Tulsa, Pittsburgh, CLO. Holiday Inn, Jim, Canadian Premiere. Instagram, you want to find him at Zach. That's it. Oh, no, wait. At Zach.Trimmer. Jeez Louise. So at Zach.Trimmer. Then we have Natalie Wisdom. Swing Broadway, Groundhog Day. Billy Elliot tours Matilda, US Miss Honey, Mrs. Wormwood, Billy Elliot Dance Captain BFA, Webster Conservatory. Warm hugs to Mom, Dad, and Zach. Huge thanks to Kent, Steph, and Ashley. IG or Instagram at natswisdom, NATWISDOM. Pelly Naomi Woods Ensemble, National Tour Debut, Regional. Once on this island, Speak Easy Stage, Hairspray, BAMSF. Boston Conservatory grad, much love and endless gratitude to my family and friends. Special thanks to Link, The Collective, and Telsey. Instagram, Pelly, as in PELI, _Woods. Kristen Anderson Lopez, music and lyrics, co-writer of Frozen, co-creator, writer of In Transit Broadway, first a cappella musical. Regional Frozen Denver Center. We are, wow, there's a lot more. We are approaching, what is it, page 10. There's a who's who. We'll continue some of this maybe in the next of, what is that thing that I was going to do? I will continue more of these when we go into, where did I get to? Into reading, goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire. No, that's not one of the plays, but it should be. Intentional Robots. The design of a goal-seeking, environmental-driven agent, which is not what we're doing today, because we got to jump back into the usual things that we do. But I did wanted to do a quick shout-out to some of these amazing artists that have been performing at the Segerstrom Center of the Arts, and have not read the list of donors yet, but I probably will at some point, which might make some people shy. So donors don't really want to be known, or maybe they do. We will find out in the comments someday. Or never. Or never. Anyway. Jump into investment management is science to learn, or to, no, it's not science to teach or to learn. In my case, to learn, not to teach. Oh, I love this YouTube algorithm. It's so great. It's fun to talk to myself in the mornings. This is one of the problems with YouTube. I will say this is there are 8 billion people on this planet. And so how difficult would it be to find 3 or 4 people to throw this algorithm into their faces and say, hey, there's a lonely, ridiculous son of a gun, the peskiest human ever to be alive on planet Earth, that is reading some interesting stuff about books, about people, about artists, even has Disney content now. Want to take a look at it? Which is what most other platforms do, actually. But the YouTube algorithm does not. That is one of the interesting things about the YouTube algorithm. It makes people feel lonely. I'm just going to tell you guys, it makes people feel lonely. It does that. So anyway, we got to crises. Do we have the tools for modeling systemic risk? And I guess some might say yes, some might say no. But let's read the book and find out. Crisis management is part of risk management, but we will now take a separate look at crises and some new ideas about how to model, if not manage, systemic risk. As mentioned in chapter 1, Joseph Stiglitz, 2013, professor of economics at Columbia University, identified approximately 100 crises worldwide in the past 30 years. We could reasonably expect then that some knowledge has been gained of the determinants and the evolution of crises. Sources commented, however, that for the most part, academia and the industry have been slow to draw such lessons. Recall the mainstream theory maintains that the economy and markets are in a state of general equilibrium. Only large, unpredictable, and exogenous events can disturb the equilibrium. Attempts to explain crises not explained by mainstream theory have taken two approaches. One approach starts with the observation that economics and financial markets are unstable, complex systems that is far from the being self-correcting equilibrium systems. Economies and financial markets have endogenous mechanisms that may lead to crises. The other approach can be traced back to Minsky's financial instability hypothesis. Crises are generated by an excess of money, which fuels speculation and causes asset price inflation, followed by debt deflation. The first approach, the study of financial markets is complex systems, is a natural course to explore. Complex systems are formed by many interacting units. As markets, interacting units form networks that exhibit thresholds of connectivity. As the probability that two agents are connected increases, one approaches the threshold where very large connected components appear. The implication is that in practice, small differences in the density of connections, that is, the average number of mutual links of each entity, make a big difference in terms of connected aggregates. From the point of view of risk management, clusters of connected units are an important type of aggregate. For example, clusters of banks that have borrowing-lending relationships constitute such an aggregate. Clusters of connected economic agents create systemic risk, such as when the bankruptcy of an important financial firm propagates throughout the cluster. Andrew Haldane, executive director for financial stability of Bank of England, said in his speech to the Financial Student Association in Amsterdam, 2009, on 15 September 2008, Lehman Brothers filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in, New York courtroom in United States. Panic ensued. Uncertainty about its causes and contagious consequences brought many financial markets and institutions to a standstill. The market for credit default swaps, CDS, froze as Lehman was believed to be counterparty to around 5 trillion of CDS contracts. Media and modern communications fed this frenzy and transmitted it across markets. Banks hoarded liquidity for fear of lending to infected banks, causing gridlock in term money markets. Spreads on lower-rated companies' bonds spiked, and there was an effective boycott of the remaining large U.S. investment banks, which is a tragic thing. One of the biggest issues that we have with money at all times is people who know how to manage it and people who don't know how to manage it. So the people who don't know how to manage it just dump the money endlessly into the system, while the people who know how to manage it only dump the amount they should be dumping into the system. And so, so long as you have a job, so you're making money, you should be able to save money, unless you have one of those horrible paycheck to paycheck kind of things where basically all the money that you make, you use because the cost of living is so high that that's pretty much all you can do. And so, in one way or another, certain people never have a chance to become, I wouldn't say wealthy, but wealthy enough to have a safety net. Anyway, there was the fear that having let Lehman Brothers fail might bring down capital markets worldwide. Mr. Haldane suggested that the disintegration of the financial system might be described in terms of network family trees, similar to those used to describe, for example, seizures in the electricity grid, the degradation of ecosystems, or the spread of epidemics. Researchers worked in the field suggest that the formation of aggregated clusters is characteristic of financial networks. They believe that network theory will provide the tools to produce a risk measure to predict the probability that huge aggregates will appear. Among those conducting such research are Thomas Lux, 2011, at the University of Kiel, Germany, where he heads a research unit on financial markets and macroeconomic activity, and Neil Johnson, 2011, who leads the University of Miami's interdisciplinary group working on complexity. In the United Kingdom, network theory applied to banks and financial markets is being carried out by Mr. Haldane and Robert May, Chief Scientific Advisor to the UK government. Haldane and May, 2011, co-authored an article on banking ecosystems that appeared in Nature relative to how systemic risk can build up in a network financial system. Jared Wilcox, president of Wilcox Investment, remarked, in the absence of definite criteria for how much leverage to employ, short-term incentive compensation drives taking too much risk. In the absence of an understanding of basic feedback and network behavior, market participants and regulators will discount future problem accumulations. These two phenomena remind one of the old story of looking out the window at the 50th floor of the 102nd story Empire State Building and seeing a man approaching rapidly downward, flapping his arms. When asked how he was doing, he called out, "So far, so good." We all know how that ends. Anyway, like turkeys being flung. Eli the computer guy, quote. The second approach, traceable back to Minsky, is being pursued at the Financial Crisis Observatory at ETH Zurich. With his fellow researchers, Didier Sornet, chair of entrepreneurial risks at ETH Zurich and head of the observatory, begins with Minsky's hypothesis that crises are generated by an excess of money, which fuels speculation and causes asset price inflation followed by debt deflation. The researchers believe that we should return to exploring the role of banks in credit creation, the benefits of certain lost forms of regulation, and the role of central banks as fighters rather than promoters of bubbles. Promoters of bubbles, not cool. The group is conducting research into how tools from non-linear dynamics can be used to model Minsky's hypothesis. In 2013 interview with FT Magazine's Stephen Foley, Professor Sornet observed that financial markets can be in different states of predictability, and in some states, markets may not be predictable at all. He suggests that searching for the same level of predictability in all states is a serious modeling mistake because doing so leads to fitting noise. We consider the implications of some of these new proposals for teaching future investments professionals in latter chapters. Pretty interesting. So let's get into this little thing on the bottom where it says the Financial Crisis Observatory defines itself as scientific platform aimed at testing and quantifying in a systemic way and on a large scale the hypothesis that financial markets exhibit a degree of inefficiency, and potential for predictability, especially during regimes when bubbles develop. For more information, see http colon, I think it is, www.er.ethz.ch/FCO. I guess ER stands for emergency room. No, I'm just kidding. Fitting noise refers to the fact that a model fits the unpredictable part of a signal. In general, we assume that signal is formed by predictable part plus unpredictable noise. A model should fit the part that is predictable, not the unpredictable noise. If only, right? We have reached teaching finance. Can we do better? Let's see if we can. We should, if we can. But do we? Anyway, so in his article, Reconstructing Economics in Light of the 2007 Financial Crisis 2010, Benjamin Friedman, professor of political economy at Harvard University, asked, how should the recent crisis, which contradicted so many central truths of modern economics, change how we teach our subject? What should we be telling our students in introductory economics courses as well as macroeconomics courses at all levels that we are not now telling them? More generally, what lessons should we draw from how we as economists, should think about world we are trying to analyze? So, how should we teach these lessons to our children? Do we need to ask similar questions regarding how we teach finance? What should we be telling our students about our theories and our models? Do we need to teach a new investment paradigm, as some have argued? What should we include that should we exclude from the curriculum of students whose objective is to manage our people's money, sources, and future well-being? And there's another sentence that has begun with the word "and," which they say is a no-no. And has anything changed since 2007-09 financial crisis? Among sources, the perception is that overall not much has changed to date. The head of human resources at UK investment management firm remarked, I have noticed that maybe things are changing a bit this year, but overall, graduates in economics and finance programs are still learning the same old theory that has been proven incorrect by the recent crisis. And there are reasons for inertia. First, not everyone is persuaded that changes are called for. Many academics believe that the current framework is solid and needs only minor adjustments. Second, some academics believe that throwing 40 years of research out of the curriculum is not so easy. These academics are trying to gradually rebalance their approach to teaching finance. Note that some critics of today's prevailing finance theory consider the efforts of the past 40 years to have been a waste of time. Alan Kerman, 2012, professor emeritus of economics at the, which they say emeritus in Latin, University of Aix, Marseille, third, I don't know, and at the École des Études in Sciences Sociales, is not a defender of neoclassical economic and finance theories, but he believes that we have to continue to teach these theories. But teaching these theories, he argued, should not prevent us from doing something. I'm going to read the little bit there on the bottom before I go to the next page. From opening students' eyes to difficulties and challenges our discipline faces, this in turn makes may make students much more enthusiastic about understanding economic phenomena and trying to analyze them rather than boring them with what they see as, much more interminable and irrelevant technicalities. I guess this is what they were talking about. Anyway, let's go back to the thing I was reading before. But teaches these theories, he argues, should not prevent us from doing what? The issue is clearly what? That makes almost no sense. Teaching these theories, he argued, should not prevent us. The issue is clearly so that's very weird. Probably a misprint because it's not congruent. Basically, it does not follow through to the next page. But teaching these theories, he argued, should not prevent us. And then it jumps into the issue is clearly considered to be a very sensitive, highly political one. And I'm not making this stuff up just in case you guys were wondering if that pesky, conniving son of a gun was coming up with something weird. Mr. Marker Reviews is just showing you guys that sometimes misprints misprint. So the issue is clearly considered to be a very sensitive one, highly political one. Many sources contacted for their views for this book said as much. Marketing considerations also enter into the problem. As business schools market their students to investment firms, they have to be careful to prepare students who have acquired the sought-after mindset and skills. In this chapter, we report what sources had to say about changing how we teach our subject to future investment professionals. In Chapter 4, we examine changes to the curriculum that sources suggest should be made. Is what we are teaching useful? It's a good question. First, given the widespread criticism of mainstream finance theory that is based on an idealization of markets, we might ask, should we continue to teach the theories to students aspiring to work in investment management? If our financial economics and financial theories are of little practical use because they do not describe reality, is it appropriate to teach the theory to students, most of whom are in school for practical purposes? I think what is important when teaching skills that kids will actually be using in the real world is to teach them the skills they will be using in the real world first, and then to give them access to the stuff that was used, or the theory or the history of what was used prior, as basically profound and additional reading work. Because if the kids don't learn the skills that they need to use in the workforce, then all the extra stuff that you're giving them is garbage. And again, it's something that they may want to know as the history of what happened before, but then you have to show them how some of that stuff did not work based on what happened in the real world. Otherwise, it is just basically pointless garbage that you're just feeding to your students, and it is of no practical value at all. So the best teachers do that. They teach the kids the actual skills that they need for the current job that they're going to be working on in future. And then they may give them some extra lectures on the side with the information on stuff that was used in the past and why it failed. Again, don't just give them a bunch of history stuff. Make it relevant. Make it relevant to today and why it failed. Robert Schiller, professor of economics at Yale University, noted the 10 sessions between teaching practical economics and teaching theoretical economics. A similar tension exists in teaching finance. For example, the theory states that markets are efficient, but in practice, asset managers seek to profit from market inefficiencies. Drawing a parallel with the physical sciences, Professor Schiller, 2010, wrote, "It should be noted that there is not a similar tension between physics and engineering, or more narrowly between electromagnetics and electrical engineering. If there were, one could easily imagine that some students taking a course in electricity and magnetism might complain that the field does not prepare them for the real world of electronics. The difference is that in physical sciences, the theory that is taught has been validated. People use it, for example, to engineer airplanes, and planes do not typically crash because of design errors. Unlike the relationship between theory and practice, in the physical sciences, with mainstream finance theory, the usefulness of what we teach is not in the practical applicability of mainstream models, which is poor, but eventually in the value of conceptual framework. So why teach the difficult mathematics in which theories of general equilibrium, market efficiency, modern portfolio theory, and continuous time asset pricing are cast? Among those mathematical techniques called for are stochastic calculus, computational methods to solve stochastic differential equations, and the mathematics of dynamic stochastic optimization, mathematics much too difficult for the average MBA student. Teaching these mathematical methods to students who are not able to fully appreciate the pitfalls is risky. The graduates may become overconfident in their mathematical methodologies. Consider, for example, derivatives, pricing, or high-frequency trading, where the temptation is to deem the highly sophisticated models to be validated as the theories of physics. They are not. The economic reality behind the complex mathematics is hidden by the complexity of the math. The risk is exacerbated by the fact that mathematical complexity is often presented as the explanation of a successful strategy. Mathematics becomes a tool to preserve the secrecy of strategies that might be based on, for example, simple principles or better sources of information. Awesome. All right, so that is as far as we're go here today. We're going to continue tomorrow from page 61. But the biggest issue with the markets is the instability of the markets. So because we live in a more and more unstable market, most of the theories that worked in the past because people were kinder to each other, people were creating businesses that weren't designed to kill the competition, but basically just to compete with the competition, are now not working that way anymore. And so in an environment where everybody has to be alpha, it makes it difficult to lead. You can't have a society of leaders with no followers. It just doesn't work, guys. But this is the problem with our modern society today. Everybody wants to be a leader. Nobody wants to be a follower. Nobody wants to get down to doing stuff, and the work doesn't get done, and people just bicker endlessly, and it is a mess. So the key here is not to destroy alphaism, but to moderate alphaism, if you will. Our society has gone way too alpha. And so there is a need in the modern world for all the other betas, gammas, sigmas. We need those. We need those because otherwise the whole society is not balanced. And we've noticed that. So do we need to take a step back? I think so. We can't have an entire society of leaders with no followers. And sometimes the followers just are more comfortable with other people leading them. And they also will be the ones that are willing to lead in times of crisis. But the problem is, if everybody's an alpha, the world does not spin. It stops spinning. Planter's Punch. Let's get into Planter's Punch. I can't remember how to say it in Italian. Planter's Punch, probably. Planter's Punch Secondo, which is 2. Let's see what the ingredients are of this thing. Ingredienti: 6 decimi rum scuro, 3 decimi succo di limone o di lime, 1 decimo sciroppo di granita, una goccia di angostura bitter soda. So how to make this? How to make this? Versare in un bicchiere tumbler alto alcuni cubetti di ghiaccio cristallino, aggiungere il rum, il succo di limone, lo sciroppo di granita e una goccia di angostura. Colmare con la soda e decorare con una fetta d'arancia o di limone secondo la propria fantasia e il proprio gusto. Il Planters Punch fu inventato in Giamaica nel 1979 in occasione dell'apertura delle distillerie di Rum Myers. So apparently this was a drink that was invented in Jamaica in 1879. Look how cool it looks. Isn't that a beautiful picture of Planters Punch? And YouTube algorithm, this is not a real punch, so please, it's not about the violence. It's just something you drink. All right, so then we have Rose. We love Rose. There was a really nice lady at Costco that used to greet us all the time, and her name was Rose. And it was fun hanging out there with Disney Gym Girl when she was really, really tiny. She was just a little tiny baby that I could hold in my arms. And we would be greeted by Rose at Costco. So it was really fun. Anyway, Rose, how to make it. Ingredienti. 3 quinti vermouth dry, 1 quinto cherry brandy, 1 quinto kirsch. I don't even know how to say that. It's Kirsh. Didn't even know that was a thing. But anyway, Kirsch. Not to be confused with Captain Kirk. Anyway, miscelare nel mixing glass con ghiaccio cristallino e servire nella coppetta da cocktail ben fredda, decorando con una ciliegina. Exciting stuff, isn't it? I think so. Then we have another drink, which is the Rusty Nail. Don't worry. It has nothing to do with construction. Ingredienti: 7 decimi succo di pompelmo, 3 decimi vodka. Servire in un bicchiere old fashioned con ghiaccio cristallino, come variante servire in un tumbler alto orlato di sale. What they mean by orlato di sale is sometimes you will get like a margarita or something, and they'll have salt around the cup. That's the idea. And then it says ingredienti for the screwdriver. Screwdriver. Hey, I guess we're going to get into some electronics and construction today. We've got rusty nails, screwdrivers. And the next one is going to be Shirley Temple. Kind of awesome. Anyway, let's get into that screwdriver. It says 3 quinti succo d'arancia e 2 quinti vodka. Mescolare il succo d'arancia con la vodka e servire in un bicchiere tumbler alto con ghiaccio cristallino. And it says 2 cl sciroppo di granita, ginger ale o limonata. This is for the Shirley Temple. Porre la scorza di un intero limone scagliato. Gosh darn it. Dyslexia. Anyway, I'm going to reread this bit because I've read a word that wasn't even there in the book. So, porre la scorza di un intero limone tagliata, aspirare in un bicchiere tumbler alto con alcuni cubetti di ghiaccio cristallino. Quindi aggiungere lo sciroppo di granita. Completare con il ginger ale o con della limonata. Awesome. Starting tomorrow, we're going to jump into things such as the sidecar. The sidecar should be fun. But we're going to jump into some a little bit of French, and we might have a couple of minutes to do some Chinese because I do want to do a little bit of Chinese. Because why not? Chinese. Therapeutics, and diagnostics. All right, so yesterday, where did we get to? We got here in Motif. Motif. All right, that's right. I was going to read this bit. It says, perspectives. Wait, is this English? Sometimes I get confused in this book. Sometimes it's French. Sometimes it's in English. Perspectives. Perspective culturelle. Maybe it's perspectives in French. Cultural perspectives. Bienvenue au monde francophone. Welcome to the French world, whatever. In this class, you are joining over, wow, that's a big number, 270,000 university students studying French in the United States. You also join 120 million French speakers throughout the world. The influence of the French language extends far beyond France and its more than 60 million inhabitants. Diverse populations on virtually every continent of the globe communicate in French. I don't know if that's true or if it's increased because of the population increase in the latest years. In Western Europe, French is the vernacular language of Belgium, Switzerland, and Luxembourg. French is also spoken as first language by about 6 million Canadians and many the descendants of 17th century traders. In other parts of the Francophone world, French is just one of the languages spoken. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, for example, French is the official language. However, most of the population doesn't use it for casual communication, and many people cannot speak French at all. This situation exists in a number of sub-Saharan African nations, former colonies of France. In the countries of the Maghreb, North Africa, Morocco, Tunisia, and Algeria, Arabic has replaced French as the official language. However, in part of the close ties between these countries and France, many North Africans speak fluent French. Okay, all right, so it's pretty good, pretty good. Bonjour, moi c'est Jean Dufresne. Je suis très... I've lost it. Bonjour, moi c'est Jean Dufresne. Je suis de Trois-Rivières au Québec, mais maintenant j'habite à Montréal près de mes enfants. So he's talking about being Jean, and he is of the Three Rivières in Quebec, in Canada. But now he lives in Montreal, close to his infants, to his children. Bonjour, je suis fait au Maroc. Je parle français et arabe. So her name is Fée of Morocco, and she speaks both French and Arabic. Bonjour, ça va? Je m'appelle Nikulu et j'habite à Lubumbashi au Congo. À l'école, je parle français, mais je parle aussi le Kuluba, le Swahili et le Lingala. J'apprends l'anglais à l'école, pas mal, non? So she speaks a lot of languages, and she lives in the Congo. She speaks a whole bunch of African languages, which is cool. But her French is also really good. So in several island nations such as Haiti, both French and Creole are official languages. However, in Haiti, only the elite, about 15% of the population, speaks French. Varieties of French throughout the Francophone world differ, but the standard remains that of the educated population of Paris. French attracts people for many reasons. It is indispensable for business and cultural exchange in the Europe community. It continues to play a major role in international bodies such as the UN, NATO, UNESCO, and the Arab League, and it is the official language of development in UN. À vous! Many people simply wish to learn French to get to know France, its people, and its rich cultural heritage. However, why have you chosen to study French? Well, I was told to study French, so I learned French in Switzerland, in the Swiss school of Switzerland, International School of Switzerland. It's on my LinkedIn that I've lost access to. All that information is on my LinkedIn, which again I've lost access to. I can't get back into that account. But anyway, unfortunately, Italian is not so interesting to people anymore. So French is more valuable. Spanish is very valuable. Yeah, not so much Italian. Identification. I can't do this word. Anyway, des choses. So the identification of things. Structure. Oui, qu'est-ce que c'est? Est-ce que, excuse my humanity once more. Les articles indéfinis. The unidentified articles. Anyway, one of the first ways you will use French is to ask for help identifying the people and things around you. Identification questions appear on page 20. Naming people, things also requires the use of indefinite articles. So, qu'est-ce que c'est? What is that? Ce sont des livres. They are books. C'est un bureau. It is a desk. C'est une fenêtre. It is a window. Ce sont des chaises. These are chairs. Est-ce que ce sont... what the heck did I just read? Est-ce que c'est un crayon? Is that a crayon, which in some cases is a pen? Oh no, that crayon. I think, was that pencil? It says non, c'est un stylo, which is a pen. Est-ce que c'est un crayon? Non, c'est un stylo. Anyway, I think that's what it meant. I might have to Google this one. I have not spoken French in years and years and years, but I think crayon is a pencil. It is not actually a crayon. And le stylo is a pen. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of interesting things that it looks into here with the classroom. Says une lumière, which is a light that illuminates your classroom. And une horloge, which is a clock. Un professeur, which is a professor, a teacher. Un tableau, which is what they call the main board, the chalkboard. Un bureau, which is the desk. Une porte, which is the door. Un étudiant, which is a student. Une étudiante, which is basically the female version of the student, because they have that in the language. Un pupitre, which I have no idea what that is, but I think it is the thing, the thing right here. I can't even describe that in English, but it's basically a chair, and sometimes the chair will have a wooden table attachment on it, so it's that thing there. Une fenêtre, which is a window. Une chaise, which is a chair. Une table, which is a table. Un mur. Mur is a wall. Un ordinateur, which is a computer. Un cahier, which is a workbook. Un dictionnaire, which is the dictionary. Un classeur. It's basically one of those binders or whatever that you get. And then all kinds of stuff. Un crayon is definitely a pencil. Un stylo is a pen. Une brosse. A brosse is that thing that you use to wipe away. It's kind of like an eraser. Une craie, which I think is chalk. Une feuille de papier is a piece of paper. Un feutre, I think, is that famous thing that you use to Anyway, a highlighter maybe. Activité. Est-ce que c'est? Suivez le modèle. So basically what this says is this something? Est-ce que c'est? Is how you ask, is this something? Est-ce que c'est une porte? Est-ce que c'est, or est-ce que ce sont des chaises? Est-ce que c'est un bureau? Est-ce que ce sont des cahiers? Est-ce que c'est une craie? Est-ce que c'est un tableau? Anyway, we're going to leave it there with the French lesson today. And we will move on to a little bit of Chinesely. But not before we jump into one very last thing, which happens to be none other than Ponti. Some people might say, what was his name? What was his name now? It's that world famous guy that is running for office at some point. Anyway, he was running for office at some point. DeSantis Monte de Pilo. Anyway, luckily nobody understands what that means. But if you are, if you are a Sicilian, you might get that joke. DeSantis Monte de Pilo. Anyway, luckily the algorithm doesn't understand anything that you can translate in Sicilian. So I'm sorry if you don't get the joke. But not all the information that I'd say on this channel is for you. So if you get the joke, thumbs up. If you don't, then I apologize for not making jokes for everybody. Tagnozzi, cavatorta, ponti, intermediate Italian, intermediate Italian. Oh, Italiano terzo millennio, the third millennium. So what do we have here? We have a strange-looking boot. What is that? What is that? It's Italy. And look, at the bottom of the boot, there is Sicily, the place where I was born. And actually, it even shows Etna, the mountain volcano under which I was born. So cool. So cool. The peskiest, most conniving, most ignored human ghost was born there in that faraway land. Anyway, awesome. There's so many places. Trapani, Palermo, Catania. Catania, I was close to Catania. Siracusa, Agrigento. Isole Egadi. Ah, how much history, how much history. Ponti, Italiano terzo millennio. So this is Elisa Tognazzi, University of California, Los Angeles, and Giuseppe Cavatorta, Dartmouth College. I guess they are the people who took care of putting this thing together. Contents, all kinds of contents. They even have stuff as modern as Internet Cafe. It's pretty cool. Let's see what one of the pages. We're gonna skip to the front bit where they start asking stuff. There's a preface. Should we read the preface? Maybe not. Where's the part where they tell you to say stuff in Italian? I don't know. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. It's written for people who can read really, 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 with many more really small texts. Luckily, I am such a person. But you'd be pretty in trouble if you couldn't read such small things and you don't have 20/20 vision. Anyway, introduction. Let's see, what can I start reading in this thing? It says an overview of your textbook's main features. It says Ponti, which is this book, consists of 12 chapters class tested in their entirety in multiple classes at UCLA and Dartmouth. So it says technology integration encourages curriculum innovation. The Internet Cafe web activity at the beginning of each chapter sets the cultural theme of the chapter. Well, I want to read some Italian to you guys. Anyway, it says indirizzo. So it starts off with giving you a website for some reason. And then it says activity. La nostalgia comincia dalla pancia. Per fortuna che c'è McDonald's. Wow, this is great. So it says nostalgia begins with your stomach. But luckily, they had to make a commercial for McDonald's. So they said, but luckily we have McDonald's. Go figure. They want to promote the most unhealthy foods. But anyway, in class, stampa una pagina del sito di McDonald's Italia dedicato ad un prodotto o ad una strategia pubblicitaria che ti ha colpito per essere diversa rispetto ai prodotti o strategie del McDonald's del tuo paese. Portala in classe, descrivila ai compagni e spiega la ragione per cui pensi che McDonald's l'abbia scelta per la sua pagina, per la sua campagna italiana. So basically they want you to study McDonald's. This is unbelievable. They want you to study McDonald's in your own country, and they want you to study McDonald's in a different country. And they want you to figure out why this ad was made for McDonald's and describe it. So basically, you're going to bring this documents, you're going to bring, not documents, you're going to bring this research that you've done on McDonald's and bring it to class to be discussed with your fellow students. Anyway, so we've started this. It started with a kiss, but how did it end up like this? So we've started another book. The book has been started. Let's jump into the last bit of today. It's going to be short because we've been... How many books was that? I don't know. You do the math. I am... And a video is going to pop up right about here that's going to tell you how many books we were working on today. No, it won't. No, it won't. Trust me, it won't. Inspection of hair. Okay, so we got to inspection of hair with respect to the Asian race. So basically it says sparse hair, the sign of blood deficiency. So if your hair is sparse, there is a sign of blood deficiency. Again, one of the reasons why people lose their hair is because poor circulation. And what leads to poor circulation? Excessive eating of animal fats that just is not able, because you don't exercise, because you don't do a bunch of things, you do not get rid of those toxins, and it just stays in with you, and eventually it leads to hair loss and other things. But anyway, and also the loss of the ability of, it basically constricts your arteries, it does a bunch of things, and also it reduces your chi movement throughout your body, which is correlated to blood flow. Anyway, sparse hair, so that's what we talked about. And it says loss of hair, the sign of deficiency of essence and blood, or of blood dryness. Dried and withered hair indicates exhaustion of the blood and chi, and an unfavorable prognosis. Smooth hair indicates filled blood and chi, and a favorable prognosis. If accompanied by sweating and continued asthma, it suggests lung depletion. So depending on which symptoms you get, it's one or the other. Also, overwashing your hair and putting in too much soap can lead to hair loss and hair thinning and a bunch of other horrible things. So don't do that. Maybe don't wash your hair. If you wash your hair pretty much every single day, maybe don't always use soap at every turn. Maybe add some extra oils to your hair if you do that, because otherwise things can go wrong. Inspection of the eyes. The spirit and color of the eyes. So lustrous eyes indicates exuberant spirit. So lustrous eyes indicates exuberant spirit. Googly eyes, I'm not sure. So yellowish change in the white part, the sign of jaundice. So be careful for that. Red eyes indicates liver heat or lung heat. Bluish eyes indicates the disease is located in the liver. Shape of the eyes, swelling eyelids indicates splenic fire or splenic deficiency, spleen function deficiency. Red canthus indicates heart fire. Dropsy of the eyelids usually indicates the beginning of qi deficiency or edema. Open eyes during sleep causes by deficiency of spleen or chronic infantile convulsion. Staring straight upward, usually seen in liver wind syndrome. Fixation of the vision. Slight fixation of the vision and normal movement at rest time is usually due to internal retention of phlegm. Complete fixation of the vision indicates a severe condition. Platychoria, the sign of kidney essence deficiency, sudden wind stroke, poisoning, or on the verge of death. Inspection of the nose. Color and luster of the nose, bluish nose tip, the sign of abdominal pain. If accompanied with intolerance to cold, it suggests a serious condition. Yellowish nose tip, the sign of dyschizia. Redness of nose indicates wind heat or heat in the spleen meridian and lung meridian. Whitish nose indicates qi deficiency or blood exhaustion. Blackish nose, the sign of overwork. Slight black is due to water retention. Cold blackish nose indicates severe yin cold side and the body. Bright nose indicates persistent fluid retention. Shape of the nose. Enlarged nose indicates exuberance of pathogenic qi. I might actually have the issue of bright nose, persistent fluid retention caused by the fact that I don't like to sweat. Even when I exercise, I don't break a sweat on purpose because I just don't like the feeling of sweating. It's very odd. I do understand, but I guess it could be the little cat in me, because cats don't like to wash. So I'm pretty sure they don't like to sweat either. Flapping of nares, the sign of extreme lung heat. If accompanied with asthma and profuse sweating seen in chronic disease, it suggests a critical condition. Rosacea, due to accumulation of damp heat in spleen and stomach and obstruction of blood. Sinking of nose bridge, caused by decline of health qi, leprosy, or syphilis, or a good punch in the nose, as they say. Just kidding. Epistaxis, not sure how to say this word. Epistaxis, usually caused by damage to yang collateral by heat. Clear snivel indicates exogenous wind, cold, or yang deficiency. Turbid snivel indicates exogenous wind heat. Persistent discharge of turbid snivel with foul smell is the sign of sinusitis. Nose malformation, usually hereditary. Inspection of the ears. Color of the ears. So yellowish and reddish ears indicates heat and wind. Bluish and whitish ears indicates deficiency and cold. Blackish ears indicates deficiency of kidney yin. Bluish and blackish ears indicates pain. Dryness and moistness of ears. Dryness is caused by an extreme deficiency of kidney yin. Scaly and dry ears are caused by blood stasis during chronic disease. Dry and lusterless or yellowish, whitish, bluish, blackish color of the ears indicates a critical condition. Ruddy ears indicate a favorable prognosis. Both thin and whitish ears or thin and blackish ears are the signs of kidney decline. The shape of ears. Otorrhea of pus, usually caused by blood deficiency and wind heat of triple energizer meridian and liver meridian, or liver fire triggered by anger. Enlarged ears indicates excessive pathogenic qi or qi domination of Shaoyang meridian. Skinny ears indicates deficiency of health qi. Inspection of lips, color of lips, pale lips indicates blood deficiency or lung disease. Blackish lips indicates kidney disease or extreme cold. Reddish lips indicates heart disease or heat. Purplish lips indicates extreme heat or blood stasis. Bluish lips indicates liver disease, extreme pain. Dryness and moisture of lips. Scorching dry lips indicates spleen, heat, or indigestion. Dry lips indicates blood deficiency or damage of yin. Moisture lips indicates sufficiency of yin and blood. Shape of mouth and lips. Locked jaw indicates convulsion or stroke. Opening of mouth with staring eyes, unfolding arms due to being frightened suddenly is caused by separate qi and blood. With staring eyes in coma and convulsion indicates critical condition with inspiratory dyspnea during sudden stroke due to pulmonary exhaustion. Oral erosion ulcer, usually caused by heat that the heart or bladder shifts to small intestine. Enlarged lips seen in warm disease. Spleen heat, exuberance of wind damp. Aphthosis indicates accumulated heat of heart and spleen. Celeectropion indicates exhaustion of spleen qi. Fissured lips indicates dryness disease. And hair lip, usually due to sport, innate malformation, or trauma. We're going to leave it there today with all of these interesting diseases and diagnostics for diseases. And we will continue on merrily, as they say, hopefully tomorrow. But anyway, guys, again, I strongly appreciate people who show up to watch these live streams. And if this gives you any value, I hope you will press the like button. But again, the hope is the last to die, as they say, but it is the last to die. So who knows? Who knows if it will happen? But 88 minutes of me rambling today, so I've got to get on to doing a bunch of other things. And the sun is starting to disappear behind those beautiful clouds, and I will show you that because I'm nice enough to do that. Let's see. Take a look at that. That is beautiful. Not sure how well it will show, but it is beautiful. And I'm going to go back to that ugly, conniving son of a gun, which would be me, to say goodbye to you guys today. And I will see you soon. See you soon in the next one, possibly tomorrow. But anyway, thanks for joining me on this little adventure. I hope I brought some value to you. And with that, I will say goodbye.